Welcome to Cinema Chop Shop. Watch, chop, retrofit.
Oh, I was texting you earlier that my notes I finally finished and printed them out. You can say they're ready to be released.
Oh.
But unfortunately, they're heavily redacted.
Why?
Well, it's probably just Bill Clinton doing Bill Clinton shit. Don't worry about it.
But this isn't a redaction podcast or a release podcast. It's Cinema Chop Shop. It's a movie podcast, and we get together every couple of weeks to talk about movies and things. And
For some people, it is a release.
it is.
Yeah, if that's your thing, this podcast could be a real release.
Not that kind, Bill. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas and stuff if you celebrate that.
And Happy Hanukkah and anything
Kwanzaa
else.
and all those things. Yeah, but this is a. I think Joey offhandedly asked a few weeks ago if we were going to do a Christmas episode, and I said no, not really. I wasn't planning on it, but then I said no, let's do one. We're going to do Lump of Coal. We're going to talk about some of the shittiest Christmas movies ever made.
And
these our main feature might be the worst one that I have ever seen.
It's
What are
pretty
some
bad.
others?
Did you watch
though,
the
that we're not-
Christmas Martian?
that
Well-
we're not talking about?
Well, Joey and I, we talked about when we first met and started our bromance. We talked about on this show, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians,
Right.
from the '60s. That's one.
Some people diss on Mixed Nuts with Steve Martin and Rita Wilson, Adam Sandler about the
Okay.
suicide hotline. I kind of like that movie.
There is a very obscure one that Riff Tracks did called Santa Claus and the Ice Cream Bunny. That's
Okay.
terrible. It was supposed to be a promotional film for an amusement park in Pensacola, Florida.
Huh.
That is scary.
Yeah, it was bizarre, strange. Yeah, there's some pedestrian and benign Santa Claus Christmas type movies. Oh,
Yeah.
we've talked about on this show the Kirk Cameron one, Saving Christmas,
Oh, nice.
the one where he, has real talk with his family member who is anti-Christmas and anti-Christian and levels with him, and then by the end everything's resolved and he has the Christmas spirit because
Yeah.
Kirk Cameron's gonna, bring the Christmas joy.
There are entire networks devoted to shitty Christmas movies that all
Oh, all
follow
the Hallmark?
the Hallmark, and
But those are so indistinguishable from one another for the most part that you can't really say that
Yeah, the
one's
cut and paste
bad
plot,
and one's
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
While at
And
the same time being completely distinguishable from all other movies. You
Yeah.
can instantly recognize one of those.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
I've said this on the podcast before. I kind of have a soft spot for those movies.
I can watch them when
They're
I'm at my
comforting.
mom's.
They're like those Danish Christmas cookies, the little shortbreads that come in a tin.
Yeah.
They're not great cookies.
You don't seek them out, but if they're there,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and you know what you're getting into. They're very comforting. It's like a little snow globe of a movie.
And there are different
I don't mind
categories of them
honestly.
too. Like there's the one where the royal is
Right.
undercover. That's a popular one.
My favorite one of those is the small business owner
Yeah,
about
small-
to get taken over by the
Small
huge
business owner
conglomeration.
lady. She's also a divorcee, and
Mm-hmm.
she's given up on men until
The guy who comes into town
Yes.
to buy her business for the multinational conglomerate
Uh-huh.
sweeps her off her feet, and they both learn the true meaning of Christmas.
Yeah. Or the Pride and Prejudice plot, where one of the two potential partners is a jackass and annoys the other potential partner, but then they realize that they're actually in love at the end.
yeah, I'm in league with Joey. I don't know if they're necessarily bad. They just are what they are. And
No.
you just kind of get it. But there's some terrible ones. I think the most recent version of Black Christmas, I think, was panned because it had
the remake.
the third remake.
Yeah, that one was even worse than the remake that they
Yeah.
did, the pointless remake.
Yeah, there's some shitty
Just
ones out there.
re-release the classic.
But we're going to start off by talking about Reindeer Games
Holy shit!
from the year 2000.
A movie that has no business being as bad as it is.
It's directed by John Frankenheimer, a great director.
Seconds,
Yes.
top 10 of all time for me.
He
also,
was either
Birdman of Alcatraz, Manchurian Candidate, Grand Prix, The Iceman Cometh, and The French Connection 2, which is actually not bad for a sequel.
No, it's underrated, yeah.
And a movie, one of the few movies that I watched for the Cinema Chop Shop Challenge, Ronin, with Robert De Niro. That's a movie with a MacGuffin.
Oh,
My
lovely.
conclusion is one of two things. Either Frankenheimer was broke, he was and needed the paycheck, or senile because he was dead
He
within
did.
a few years.
Yeah,
of
he
this.
did die within 2 years of this
Yeah.
coming
This
out.
is his last feature film,
Wow.
theatrically released feature film.
The cast, we've got Ben Affleck, kind of probably arguably at the height of his career, maybe.
Well,
At the height of his powers.
of his superstar portion of his career. Where he was
Charlize Theron, Gary Sinise, James
Okay.
Frain, and a few other.
Dennis Farina,
Isaac Hayes.
Donald Logue,
Donald Loge.
who was the wedding singer in Old School.
Yep.
I need you now tonight.
Yeah.
And then also we get a cameo appearance of Ashton Kutcher
It's just a college kid, right?
as
Yeah,
a
yeah.
college kid who, if wearing the right getup, could pass as the same guy who came in a few minutes ago. We'll get to that.
All right, the synopsis. Just released from prison, all Rudy Duncan wants to do is start a new life with Ashley, played by Charlize Theron, the girl of his dreams, whom he met through pen pal letters in prison. But between them and happiness stands her crazy brother, Gabriel.
Also, the fact that maybe you're getting into this, but also the fact that he is not who he is telling
Right.
her he is.
Yes.
He's passing
This
himself
and
off.
this synopsis does omit a very key plot point from the beginning. Gabriel and his motley crew of deadly criminals who think Rudy has some inside information about a casino where he once had a job, a casino Gabriel and his short-fused posse plan to take down. Travis, you said you wanted to break this thing down by...
Well, yeah, we've got Act 1, which sets everything up, where they're in prison near Iron Mountain, Michigan. The whole movie takes place in Michigan. Inmates Nick Cassidy and Rudy the reindeer, are days away from freedom. Nick's been corresponding with a woman named Ashley Mercer and plans to meet her upon release. But the whole time they're in there, Rudy is hanging on his every word when he's reading these letters and literally making "I'm going to steal your girl" jokes
Yes.
while they're in there. And then like 2 days before their release, there's a prison riot, and Nick, the one who's actually been corresponding with Ashley, gets shanked. And so Rudy gets out and sees Ashley there, recognizes her from the pictures, and initially walks past her and gets on the bus, and then tries to talk himself out of what he's about to do, which is a morally reprehensible thing. He pretends to be his dead friend who she has never seen. Ashley has never seen pictures because ostensibly he wanted to surprise her or wanted her to fall in love with the real him. And so he pretends to be his dead friend to get some ass. Now, granted, it is Charlize Theron.
Yep. And she earns her paycheck.
She does.
She does.
The subsequent scene.
And so he proceeds to bed her. And
then off the bed her. They
Yes.
fuck so hard that they fall asleep on the floor.
And as you noted,
that
Sean, the
scene-
widest mouth kissing you'll ever see.
Oh my God! Let's eat the face with the wide mouth
That
kissing.
had to be
And they-
part of the direction too.
and with multiple people, you
Yeah,
can see that.
every single person who
Frankenheimer's
kisses.
like, we got to get those mouths wider, folks.
Yeah,
Come on.
I mean, full
So-
on Billy Bass.
Not very long into their new romance, the quote-unquote brother, Gary Sinise's monster character, shows up with his crew of henchmen, and it takes a little bit to get to what they're after, but basically they want to rob a casino that Nick, who they believe Ben Affleck's character is, used to work at. And so what are your guys' thoughts on that first portion? Like, I was mad when he decides to go and pretend to be Nick. I was literally mad at him. Like, you can't fucking do that.
I don't want to belabor the point, but that's a sexual assault.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretending to be it's
Well,
It's kind of
immediately-
has a Revenge of the Nerds aspect
Yes,
to it.
yes, and immediately you set yourself your hero, quote unquote.
unreliable narrator.
Well, not only that, but just morally
Reprehensible.
Bankrupt.
Yeah, bankrupt. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is fine. I can go with a good anti-hero.
It
but-
kind of has the foundation of like a noir type film where
Yeah.
you have a main character who does some things that aren't on the up and up. Yeah, I get that, but yeah,
My biggest beef with the first part of the film is also my biggest beef with the rest of the film as well. Is that it's fucking boring as hell. Like, it's not anywhere near as exciting as what Travis and Sean just made it sound like in terms of the plot, because that sounds like, okay, that could be compelling. If you have not seen this movie, I urge you not to watch it, But if you must watch it, you will see that none of this is compelling at
Yes,
all.
what becomes boring and tedious, which I'm assuming is
the
And nonsensical.
prison riot is kind of boring.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have to do a lot to avoid getting pulled into it.
Yeah,
and
well,
it-
we
and
could
it-
have had a good battle royal up in
It's
there.
all
you know, it's
over cockroaches, monsters in the gelatin. So moving things along, we get into Act 2, the confrontation. So pretending to be Nick, Rudy fabricates a casino robbery plan based on stories Nick once told him in prison, conveniently, centering on a supposed lucrative powwow safe. As the gang prepares, cracks appear in Rudy's story, especially when the casino turns out not to have been remodeled as he had claimed. Suspicion grows and violence escalates, and an innocent fisherman is murdered. Rudy is tortured for information with darts.
yes.
And discovers that Ashley and Gabriel are actually lovers. They're not brother and sister. at
What?
all. And the robbery itself goes disastrously wrong, with inaccurate details leading to chaos inside the casino and the death of one gang member. A final confrontation in the manager's office ends in a bloody shootout that leaves the casino manager dead and most of the gang scattered or killed. The powwow safe turns out to be a cache of weapons that Dennis Farina, even though he's like barely hanging on to life, opens and
Manages, yeah.
spins around and does a big shoot 'em up.
well, and somehow it seems like they've also planned out some sort. He gives them a signal. It seems like, and I'm like, how did they play? You
Because
remember what I'm talking about?
he knew about that because Nick was a security
Oh,
person there.
okay.
So
Yeah,
that would
I
have been
totally
a plan that
missed
was
that.
in place. And he's like,
Oh,
"Pow,
so okay,
wow."
I guess it makes sense, even
It
though it's
doesn't
really
really.
stupid.
And
It's
there's
really
so
stupid,
many
yeah.
things that
To keep
in
up
this
with.
movie that's like, oh, well, it's convenient that happened
Yeah.
because otherwise nothing else in the movie could have happened.
Yeah, let's get to the very end, and then we'll talk about this Rube Goldberg machine.
All right, so then finally, Act 3, resolution. Rudy is captured by Gabriel and Ashley, who plan to kill him in a staged accident, still wearing his Santa suit because 5 Santas walked into the casino. 5 have to either still be there or be found
Be
dead.
counted, yep.
At this moment, Nick reappears alive, and Ashley is revealed as Millie Bobek, Nick's true partner in a long con that used Rudy and the gang as expendable tools. Turning the tables, Rudy frees himself, injures Nick, kills Millie, and sends both conspirators over a cliff. With the stolen money in hand, Rudy abandons greed and distributes the cash anonymously in mailboxes along his route back to Sidnaw in time for Christmas dinner, finally embracing the family life he once dismissed.
So somebody explained this to me, which I caught when I was watching the film and honestly did not care enough to think too much about it. Think about the logistics
Oh, yeah.
of faking your own death in prison. How
He paid everybody
He
off.
paid off a guard
Yeah.
to spread the word that he had.
If he has all
bought
this
it.
money to pay everybody off, why does
Why
he
is he
need
robbing?
to?
Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
It's just the Rube Goldberg
It's a
device is
slap
just
in the
ridiculous
face.
to set this into motion so far back.
Yep.
Like you go into prison with this plan in place that your girl's going to be writing you letters.
I know I've
just-
seen this movie before this rewatch, like 20 years ago or whatever. I still didn't see the triple cross coming. When when Forney from the Walmart Baby movie shows back up, Nick, I was like, wait, what? And then the whole movie is just one big giant debacle.
The other thing, there's some other things wrong with this movie as well. The studio wanted some lighter moments, some levity in the movie because it came off kind of ultra violent, and I'll get to that in a second. But they forced them to put in some of these stupid dad jokes in the
Yeah.
movie that were completely out of place and did not make sense. But also, you're coming off of, the Tarantinoization of violent films in the mid-90s. So there's a lot of this ultra violence, like the dart scene that you mentioned, that they're not well done, and it's not Frankenheimer's bag to do these kind of
Right.
scenes. So that didn't play well.
I noticed what appeared to me to be a bunch of audio that was added later. What do they call it? ADR.
ADR, yeah.
So, for example, when they were the initial sex scene between Rudy and Ashley, when they fall on the bed, it's still showing both of their faces and their mouths aren't moving, but you hear Ben Affleck like laughing, like ha ha ha, we fell off the bed.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Just terrible. The other thing I wanted to mention about this is that the whole film takes place in Upper Michigan, Yoopers.
Yes.
Which, had they played up on this, they could have had some of the same fun that Fargo had.
Yeah, there's a wealth
that,
of content
with
there.
that Upper Peninsula accent is unmistakable, yet nobody in the film speaks with it. So
there's one point where Monster says, I want to be in some motel in Deer Shit, Michigan, when he's from Michigan.
Yeah.
His truck says Motor City Monster on the side. His truck, which is also just a stage, like it's like a holding cell in the back of this truck, right?
it's just
Didn't they trick him into that by?
it's probably best not to think about it too
Yeah.
much.
It's amazing to me, like, because, this movie has some pretty serious bona fides. Like you said, Frankenheimer.
Gary Sinise.
I mean, yeah, Charlize Theron, Ben Affleck, who's not a great actor.
Serviceable.
But
He's an Oscar winner.
He's got screen presence. He's fine. Gary Sinise to support. And the performances aren't awful, I don't
Gary
think, for
Sinise
the
is
most
just
part.
doing if Lieutenant Dan had legs.
Yeah, but
Yes.
and it just doesn't. It's less than the sum of its parts
Yeah.
somehow, and it just has. It's soulless and
I have
joyless
to
and
assume
just
it's just a
bad.
paycheck movie all the way around. Although I'm have the image of a financially desperate Jerry Frankenheimer teaching a freshman screenwriting class at UCLA
Well,
and just grabbing the best script out of the class.
Well,
and say,
like
"Hey,
like
let's
Joey
make a
said
movie."
though, the
'Cause
the
it's a
film
terrible
itself
script.
is
Yeah.
boring. It's the second act of planning this heist is tedious.
You don't care
and
about
dull.
anybody.
I mean, there's no excitement. There's no Ocean's 11 type thing where they're like, and then we're going to go in and do this and this and this. When
Because none of them know what they're doing.
it's just stupid. It's just dumb. And,
And
yeah,
you can have morally gray characters like a noir, like you said, but you got to care about what happens to
Sure.
the people. And you do not give two shits about
in terms
anybody.
This has supplanted for me. We've watched a lot of great films for this podcast. We watch a lot of really shitty movies for this podcast. Up until this point, the worst one that I had watched was Roger Corman's Atlas.
okay.
And I mean this in terms of like just sheer lack of entertainment value. I barely made it through this fucking piece of shit. I'm telling you, like, this has supplanted. This is the worst movie that I have watched in a long time.
Yeah.
And it's just because it's just not from a competency point of view, because aside from the script being really bad, everything else is at least competent, I guess.
Yeah.
But just from a way it comes together and from a compelling entertainment standpoint, this movie is not unwatchable. And
Yeah.
it is just, it's bad.
Did you watch Jingle All the Way? Because there's an argument that it gets worse from
I
here.
saw
We'll get
it
to that.
years
We'll
ago. I
get to
did
that.
not rewatch it.
So some of the actors, these big name actors, only did the movie, and they were on record later saying they only
work-
did the movie
yeah.
to work with John Frankenheimer.
Yeah, that was Charlize's reasoning
exactly.
for it. Yeah, this. I hope I'm not
No.
stepping on your
Fun facts.
but this movie was originally scheduled to release in the holiday season of 1999, but got pushed into deep February 2000, which is considered to be movie graveyard. That's where you release movies that you have no
Somebody
faith
knew.
in. Oh,
Yeah.
they had to have
Yeah.
known. Yeah. So yeah, releasing a Christmas film in February is just suicide.
This was released by Dimension Films. Wasn't that a Weinstein company?
I'd have to check.
Okay, I was just waiting for the Weinstein credit on the opening credits. But speaking of fun facts, I've got a few. The film was cut by over 20 minutes before its original theatrical release
God.
in December.
I can't imagine that
because
those
of
20
poor
minutes
test-
would have made it better either.
test
you
screening.
know?
They
Was there a
did-
quadruple cross that we missed out on?
They did eventually release the full version, Frankenheimer's original cut, as a director's cut. In October of 2007, Charlize Theron said in an interview in Esquire magazine that, quote, Reindeer Games was her least favorite of all of her films. And she said, that was a bad, bad, bad movie. But I got to work with John Frankenheimer. I wasn't lying to myself. That's why I did it. According to Danny Trejo, the reason that Vin Diesel was replaced in the role that Donald Logue wound up playing was because Diesel was offered a starring role in the Fast and the Furious franchise, and he wisely went with that.
Wow, it could have
instead
been
of this.
even worse.
Finally, the film cast includes 3 Oscar winners, Ben Affleck, Charlize Theron, and Isaac Hayes, and 1 Oscar nominee with Gary Sinise, at least at the time that fun fact was written. The fun facts are more fun than the movie.
Way
Yeah.
more fun.
Totally.
I'm trying to picture the person who's like, dude, there's a director's cut of Reindeer Games, and like
Yeah.
making a point to seek that out. You know,
Frat bros.
You know?
Not exactly the lost footage of the Magnificent Ambersons,
No.
I don't think. Or,
Yeesh. All right, well then that's Reindeer Games.
Yeah,
And,
stick a fork in that one.
that was a
It's
stinker.
done.
What a stinker. So we're going to take a break, and then we'll come back with our
More
individual
like
picks.
caribou.
But not before we say, let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves some fruitcake.
Little Debbie Christmas trees.
Black licorice.
Uh,
Ew.
Fruitcake sucks, so that's a good one.
Yum, yum. It's time for a tasty and refreshing snack. We promise to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, your sweet tooth. So visit our refreshment center now. Let's go.
And we're back. Nobody peed in the yard. We're so engaged in this episode. Everyone said, let's just go ahead and do it.
Or we were so depressed from Reindeer Games we couldn't
All right,
get up.
let's jump right into our individual picks. Joey, you get to go first.
So I went through a lot of movies. I went through a lot of aborted attempts for this one. I tried to watch Santa Claus versus the Martians, which just wasn't doing it for me on this rewatch. I'd seen that one many years
Even with
before.
the Mystery Science Theater commentary, it's
It's pretty
pretty
bad,
unwatchable.
and it's just like it's run of the mill bad, and it's like one of those quintessential. Everybody knows it's a bad Christmas movie, so I kind of want to do something different. I tried to watch, oh god, a couple of other ones, but I ended up on Santa's Sleigh. Mm-hmm. I chose this one because
SLAY.
it just struck me recently how many, and this is in a lot of ways a function of like the streaming market now, how many Christmas horror movies there are.
Oh, there are plenty.
A fuck
Yeah.
ton of Christmas horror movies out there, and this is not anywhere near the top of the pile. But I'm going to argue that this is a much better film than Reindeer Games for a lot of reasons. Santa's Sleigh. Let me give you just this little synopsis, and then you'll know exactly what you're in for. Bill Goldberg
Yes.
plays a demonic slasher Santa. Okay.
professional wrestler. We probably should know because he's not exactly Hulk Hogan unless you were locked into late
and
90s
also-
wrestling.
Bill
former
Goldberg's not in the
WCW
zeitgeist.
champion Bill Goldberg, who didn't have a whole lot of charisma as a wrestler, honestly. So it translates to the film. He's fine in this role, but we'll get there. So Santa's Sleigh essentially is a Christmas slasher. Turns out that Santa is actually a demon, the son of Satan, in fact, who 1,000 years ago lost a bet to an angel. And as a result of the terms of the bet, he has to be good for 1,000 years.
Yes.
And he becomes what we know of as Santa, spreading Christmas joy, bringing toys to the kids, yada, yada, yada. As the movie begins, the 1,000 years is up, so the terms of the bet are over. Santa is now free to be evil again.
Yep.
And the movie opens in an actually kind of star-studded...
Yes, for 2005. That's
A lot of
Yeah.
characters, a lot of competent character actors. Pop
Yeah,
up in
Fran
this.
Drescher,
Chris Kattan.
Chris Kattan,
Kattan,
Rebecca Gayheart,
James Caan.
James Caan.
Yep.
Some people whose names I can't recall, but you've seen them in a million
Yeah,
things.
and the movie blew most of its budget on getting those actors because
and
they
it
all
shows.
die within the first 5 minutes of the movie. So it actually kind of starts with a good bit of promise. There's a dysfunctional family dinner featuring all those character actors, and then Santa comes down the chimney and starts slaying people. And it's silly, over the top, bad fire CGI,
Yeah.
Slasher fare, and it's fine. The movie from there devolves into Santa basically rampaging across the country on his way to Hell Township, which I'm assuming is in Canada.
It's Canadian. All get out. This
Yeah.
whole movie's Canadian.
So he's making his way to hell because we don't know this yet, but I don't think anybody cares about spoilers. If you do, just pause and go watch the movie. The angel who he originally had his bet with, and who's kind of been keeping him at bay for all this time, has traded in his immortality for the love of a mortal woman, and he is our protagonist's grandfather, essentially. So Santa makes his way to Hell Township, slaying along the way. Movie has, if you're into silly comic slasher kills, this movie actually does deliver on those. There's a lot of them, really high body count, kind of creative
High
kills
booby
if
count
that's
as
your
well with
thing.
the strip club scene.
There is that. The
Just
tone
checking in
is
over here with the booby count.
well. It's funny you should say that because that's what I was going to say next. The tone of this movie is comedy horror, as witnessed by one truly funny moment in the movie. Santa goes to a strip club. I wish I would remember the name of it. It was funny.
Gold Diggers.
Gold Diggers, yeah. And so he goes into the club, and there's a stripper doing her thing on a pole.
Yeah.
And Santa comes in and starts rampaging. And before he rips the pole out of the floor to use as a weapon, he goes, ew, and he takes like a wet wipe and
Wipes
wipes
it
it down. I mean, that's laugh out loud funny, y'all.
Doesn't he
right?
also electrocute somebody with that pole, with that stripper pole?
Yes. He's very creative when it comes to his kills. One thing leads to another. He confronts our protagonist is this teenage boy who doesn't
Never
know
to
this-
be seen again, this kid.
Well, if you look at his letterbox,
No,
he's in
he's-
a lot.
Really?
Of
Yeah.
movies,
Oh yeah. He's gone on to do quite a
No
bit.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean nothing that huge A-list type stuff, but he's a
works.
career actor. Yeah, he's got a
Gotcha.
job. As I said, you know exactly what you're getting into this when you sign on for a movie starring Bill Goldberg as a demonic.
This
Santa.
did not exactly launch his acting
No.
career a la The Rock or anything like that.
He's actually very good as the Santa.
Well, that's because all
until
he
he
has
has to start talking.
Yeah, well,
yeah, he's
that-
good.
Then
at
he just does
menacing.
his Bill
Yeah.
Goldberg.
Well, that's what I was going to say. All he has to do is act like Bill Goldberg, which, if you know about Goldberg, he just did a lot of growling.
He's
and-
just here to
Cracked
spread
his
some
neck
Christmas
and
fear.
flexed his muscles.
Uh-huh.
And,
I will give the movie some points for the flashback sequence that explains the bet origin is 100% Rankin and Bass.
Yeah.
Yes,
that was probably my favorite part of
A
the
Yeah.
curling legend, no less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's done well, and that's a nice nod to those things as well. Like I said, man, you know what you're getting into when you watch this movie. I honestly, it is a bad movie, so it fits our lump of coal theme, but I enjoyed it. I had fun watching it. I laughed
way
out
more
loud
fun than
several
reindeer
times.
games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's the kind of bad that
It's
it's aware that it's bad.
it's low hanging, immature comedy. It is along the same lines of your typical wrestling fare. I mean, it's that it has
very
a
much feels
parallel
made
audience.
for TV.
Yeah.
Like maybe the WWE was actually the production company. And so it was fitting that Chris Kattan was in that opening segment because the production value is on a par with some mid-2000s SNL sketches.
Yeah, agreed.
The one thing that I will say about this movie is that it ends, as many horror movies do, with a
The
sequel
promise of a
teaser.
sequel.
But as far as I know, that was never delivered upon, which, for better or for worse. So, again, it knows what it wants to be. It is not good. It is, in fact, a objectively bad movie, but it's a lot more fun than Reindeer Games. And if you're in the mood for silly Christmas slasher, you could do a lot worse, I think.
Fun facts?
Yeah.
Fun facts.
The entire Mason family in the opening scene of the film are played by Jewish actors, which is meant to be an inside joke since their characters are celebrating Christmas.
I was going to
Well,
mention this. Yeah,
Well,
There's
Bill
a-
Goldberg is Jewish.
he's Jewish,
himself,
as is the writer director.
and there's a lot of Jewish jokes.
Yeah, and
With
there
Saul
was a couple
Rubinek
of times
in the role.
when I was like, "Is this
Okay,
anti-Semitic?"
Is it okay to watch this?
Yeah.
But I think it's just kind of poking fun, and they get a pass because of their own Jewishness.
Yep, like the dentist on Seinfeld.
You couldn't, a Gentile couldn't make these jokes.
No.
Also, the old book that explains the origin of Santa Claus is written in Icelandic because some believe that parts of the Santa mythos are taken from Norse legends. And then finally, at the end of the film's end credits, Santa breaks the fourth wall saying, "Who's next?" which eventually became a catchphrase for Goldberg during his wrestling career.
I will say this kind of shocked me. I watched this with my wife as she was convalescing from a recent accident that we had, and she said, maybe it was the pain meds, we should make this a Christmas
tradition.
A tradition. And I was like, okay. I mean, because I'd rather watch it than the Polar Express again.
Oh yeah, the Uncanny Valley movie.
Yep.
All right. That was Santa's Sleigh. Todd.
Slay
All right.
Queen.
Well, with our next film, we'll stick with our neighbors to the north. Canadian film, The Christmas Martian from 1971. It is actually the first children's film to be made in Canada outside of the National Film Board of Canada or the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, which were both had government.
And you're putting the word
government.
film in quotations, right?
Yes. It's barely a feature. It's about 65 minutes. Later on in the 80s, when one of the producers created a children's television series, this was kind of The Christmas Martian was absorbed into that. To borrow from Coffee Talk with Linda Richmond, this film is neither really about Christmas, nor is there an actual Martian. There is an extraterrestrial, but he is not from Mars. So why they call him a Martian, I do not know.
Just as a generic alien term.
I guess so.
Christmas alien.
Kind of
thought
like
it would-
calling
Yeah.
all vampires Draculas.
Right.
People thought it was going to be a Jesus is an immigrant kind of thing. Yeah, maybe.
And the film is set during Christmas, but it's not a Christmas film. It's just kind of in the backdrop, really. It's really more of
Die Hard.
the film is set in northern Quebec and was originally in French. There is an English language version, but it is French-Canadian in origin. And so we have a lot of outdoorsy snow shots. But the titular Christmas Martian or extraterrestrial, whatever, shows up wearing looks like something he got from the lingerie store. It's like this body fishnet green thing. I'm like, I don't.
Where do you shop for lingerie?
I don't.
It was kind of like a fishnet meets chicken wire kind of
Yeah,
outfit.
exactly. But I mean, the fishnet thing is over like a ski mask, and I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Is it supposed to be like performance art?
Yeah, so the actor, and I can't pronounce his name, Marcel Sabourin, he does kind of a chaplain or Marcel Marceau type of performance. Not a lot of dialogue from this guy. A poor man's version. Sean just gave a skeptical look.
God,
So
you are
it's
giving
not-
this movie way too much credit.
a poor man's version of that, let's say. There's not much to the film, really. The Martian shows up. He hasn't crash landed like E.T. or anything. It's really kind of unclear why he's there. They've been observing Earth,
Christmas,
I guess. They've just been observing
Just
Earth.
causing mischief.
He shows up at a candy store and drops a bunch of Skittles in his mouth and just kind of freaks out all the adults. But he
Wanted to
befriends...
taste the rainbow.
Yes, yes. But he befriends two of the town's children, brother and a sister, who were probably 7, 8 years old, something like that. And they go on winter adventures together, sledding. He can fly around a little bit. There's a scene that I guess is sort of a nod to Mary Poppins at one point. Doesn't make a lot of sense. He comes out of the Martian comes out of a phone booth wearing a woman's outfit, and then he flies off into the air with sparklers. There's a flying saucer of low quality, let's say, in terms of the special effects. And really, that's all the movie is. He just kind of freaks the adults out, plays with the children, they have fun eating candy and, this, that, and the other thing.
So he's a
going
pedophile
sledding,
grooming
fly
two
around.
children.
Yes.
Lowercase
Teaching
p.
him the true meaning of
Lowercase
Christmas,
p.
Sean.
Yeah.
He has this weird laugh. I mean, it really is kind of bizarre. One of the tagline or one of the descriptions of I read called it perhaps the weirdest Canadian film ever made.
And that's saying something.
Yep.
So it sounds kind of obscure. How did you hear about this movie? Was it like on a list of?
Yes, there is a company that puts out boutique Blu-rays called Vinegar Syndrome, and this was one of the ones they put out.
On Blu-ray. They released
Yes,
this
they released
on
it
Blu-ray.
on Blu in like a deluxe edition. It's got
Wow.
a booklet.
Let's don't bury the lead here.
Steelbook.
Todd owns this on DVD, folks.
I'm going to be selling that one, but I did like the cover though. That's. But in any case, yeah, they gave it the deluxe treatment and everything. I think though it's mainly notable as a historical marker for the Canadian film industry. The director Bernard Gosselin. This was the only fictional feature he did. But he was a notable Canadian director of documentary films for the Canadian broadcasting system and the government entities that I mentioned earlier.
What if
and
this
it also
was actually
kind
a documentary too?
Yeah.
We just don't know.
Yes. And despite our opinions of the quality of the film, it actually was a hit in Canada and sparked more interest in children's films. It led to a series in the 1980s that I referenced earlier. I forget the name off the top of my head. It doesn't matter. But The Christmas Martian was absorbed into that series of children's films. And so I think that is why it maybe is still notable today. I mean, it does have a kind of a bizarre charm if you're looking at it just
Is it
right.
supposed to be like a? Is there stuff that's supposed to fly over kids' heads, like wink and nod, like HR Puffin stuff?
No, well, there's a lot of 67 type stuff if you get that reference now. So kids these days just throw out these like 67 doesn't mean anything. I don't know if you encountered any of that in your teaching, but there are a lot of references like that that don't really mean anything. Like, for example, the Mary Poppins-esque scene, he just lights matches and takes off, and it's like, what? That doesn't have. And there is though a weird. What to us, what to me would seem like a really weird sensibility that I wonder if that's cultural to like northern Quebec or something like that.
Yeah.
Similar to how like if you're watching a Japanese film or a South Korean film or something like that, there may be little flourishes of humor that seem specific to the culture. Put it that way.
The $1 million question for me: we're sitting down right now, cracking a few beers, and we're going to watch a movie. Are you putting on this, or are you putting on Reindeer Games?
This one's shorter,
Okay.
so it's like 65 minutes. So
That's not a ringing endorsement.
no.
Well, it's Christmas cold.
What about you, Sean?
I would-
Reindeer Games or Christmas
I would
Martian?
never watch this movie again. I think I said in my review I wanted to do you harm.
I started to watch it last night, and I was like, you know what? I'm just not in the mood for this right now.
Well, what's even worse is that the streaming copy from Zumo with an X
With an X.
is blared out. Like the white levels are off the charts. You can hardly even tell what's happening in the scene, so that makes it even more
need to get
difficult.
the
I was
Blu-ray,
expecting
Tom.
it to be more enjoyable, given that it did receive deluxe Blu-ray treatment from a company. Usually, those films do have. They're not conventionally good films, but they have a
it's
certain charm.
strange.
This one, yeah.
I'd be really
Didn't really
interested
land.
to infiltrate the subculture that is devoted to this movie.
I mean, it evidently has a cult.
Following, yeah.
Well,
following, yeah.
How about them fun
to,
facts?
How little known this movie is. The only fun fact listed by IMDb is that it was riffed in December of 2023 by MST3K alums Kevin Murphy, Michael J. Nelson, and Bill Corbett for riff tracks.
Oh, cool. I'll have to look that up.
All right, so it's over to me.
Yes.
With Jingle All the Way.
Do it.
1996. This was directed by Brian Levant. He directed Problem Child 2,
May this man rot in hell.
Beethoven, The Flintstones, and The Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas, and the classic Snow Dogs.
Whew, not exactly the Orson Welles
We've got
filmography
a
here.
20% on Rotten Tomatoes. It is starring Arnold Schwarzenegger as Howard Langston, who's a workaholic mattress CEO, mattress company sales executive. Sinbad as an angry postman. Phil Hartman as the cringy neighbor next door who's trying to move in on his wife, played by Rita Wilson, Liz Langston. We've got Robert Conrad, who shows up as Officer Alexander Hummel. Robert Conrad played Jim West in the Wild Wild West TV show. Martin Mull plays the DJ at the radio station. Jake Lloyd is in this movie pre-Phantom Menace. They actually hired him for Phantom Menace after seeing his performance in Jingle All the Way.
They were like,
That
"This
tells you
dude
all you need to know about
killed it
George
in
Lucas."
Jingle All the Way.
James Belushi shows up, just being crazed as like a mall Santa. Harvey Korman as a president actor. Richard Mall as Dementor actor. Richard Mall, of course, was
Also kind of
the bailiff
star-studded.
on
Night
Bull.
Court.
on Night Court, Bull. Booger, Curtis Armstrong as the chain-smoking booster. And then Danny Woodburn, little person actor Danny Woodburn as Tony the Elf.
This is kind of like Reindeer Games in that Reindeer Games had a quality cast of like serious
Right.
actors. This has not exactly A-list talent, but these
Right.
are comedy.
Yeah, like Sinbad was riding pretty high in 1996.
Yeah, these are comic actors who were well
He manages
thought of
to
and-
fit in some Rodney King jokes.
I know that was.
I was
yeah.
surprised he didn't sneak in an OJ joke.
Yeah.
So instead of reading the plot synopsis from Wikipedia of a movie that's not very funny, instead I asked ChatGPT to punch it up a little bit and make it funny. So this is what ChatGPT thinks about Jingle All the Way. In Minneapolis, chronically absent husband and professional mattress pusher Howard Langston insists that he loves his wife Liz and their 9-year-old son Jamie, even though he treats family time like an optional software update. Making matters worse, their smugly available neighbor Ted Malton, played by Phil Hartman, recently divorced and aggressively wholesome, keeps swooping in to look like dad of the year while quietly pining for Liz. After Howard misses Jamie's karate graduation because he gets pulled over again, he vows to reclaim his parental credibility by securing Jamie's Christmas holy grail, the Turbo Man action figure. Now, Sean, you joked that
Keep on. You just get through it.
They named the doll Turbo Man because Arnold couldn't say it. This would be admirable if Liz hadn't reminded him to buy it 2 weeks earlier, which Howard promptly forgot. On Christmas Eve, because of course, Howard finally begins his quest, discovering that Turbo Man has vanished from the face of the earth. Enter Myron Larrabee, an equally desperate postal worker dad, and the two instantly bond by becoming mortal enemies. Howard's search devolves into fistfights, mall chaos, and a truly inspired decision to buy a knockoff toy from a warehouse full of criminal Santas, resulting in a riot that ends with Howard bluffing his way out by pretending to be a police officer using a toy badge that he finds in the warehouse. Exhausted, humiliated, and running on fumes, he stops at a diner, phones home to confess, and instead yells at Jamie for daring to believe in him. Father of the Year, everyone.
God.
Howard then reunites with Myron just in time to hear about a radio contest for a Turbo Man doll, which turns out to be a Turbo Man doll gift certificate because the universe hates them. This sparks another brawl, a foot chase, and a police encounter that escalates when Myron pretends one of his mail packages is a bomb. This is pre-9/11, folks. One only for it to actually explode when opened, proving that Christmas miracles do exist, just not helpful ones. Back home, Howard finds Ted practically auditioning for replacement husband while decorating the Langston family tree. Howard briefly considers stealing Ted's Turbo Man doll, but discovers to his own shock that he still has a conscience. Liz catches him mid-crime anyway and leaves him behind as she takes the kids to the holiday parade with Ted because emotional damage is festive. Ted later tries to seal the deal with Liz and gets politely shut down, but the psychological harm is already done. Refusing to end his redemption arc in total failure, Howard heads to the parade where fate and poor event security mistakes him for the actor playing Turbo Man. Fully suited up, Howard finally becomes the superhero his son needed all along. Unfortunately, Myron appears dressed as Turbo Man's nemesis, Dementor, and steals the toy, forcing yet another chase. This time, Howard saves Jamie, Myron gets arrested, and Howard admits to his family that he's been a deeply flawed human being and in a spandex suit. In the spirit of the season, Jamie gives the Turbo Man toy to Myron for his son, because children in this universe are infinitely more mature than the adults. The crowd cheers Howard like he actually planned any of this. Later that night, peace is restored, the Christmas tree gets its star, and Liz reassures Howard that his dramatic citywide rampage proves how much he loves his family. Then she asks one question guaranteed to end the movie on a scream. So, what did you get me? Howard freezes in existential terror, having learned absolutely nothing, and the screen mercifully cuts to black.
Terrible.
It's a bad movie.
This movie is almost as boring as Reindeer Games, honestly.
Well, here's what.
It depends, though. If you watch it in 15-minute chunks, actually.
So here's why this movie's awful. The message of this movie is a neglectful father wins in the end thanks to lying.
Yeah. Well, and the whole thing, it's like Reindeer Games. I think you could pin down why neither of these films work beyond just the terrible scripts, in that characters who you could not give a shit about.
Oh,
Flat
God.
characters, you don't care about them, you don't care what happens to them. At the end of the day, that will kill any movie.
So yeah, Travis made the comment about naming it Turbo Man.
Yeah.
Also calling his kid Jamie.
Yeah.
Jamie.
And the idea that they wouldn't recognize him in the Turbo Man outfit until he, took off his glasses.
My note was, stupid kid, that's your dad.
Right.
Well, I guess his dad's never around, so how is he supposed to know, right?
Well, that's the Clark Kent syndrome, to be fair.
For sure.
You didn't mention it in your recap. There's the animal cruelty where he's punching a
Punched
reindeer.
this fucking reindeer right in the face.
Yeah.
It's not like the reindeer was trying to mess up your plans. It's a reindeer.
So here's my other issue with this movie. It's in Minneapolis, Minnesota for Christmas Eve, a parade. The average temperature in Minneapolis on December 24th is 19 degrees.
Yeah.
Those fuckers were wearing short sleeves and light sweatshirts. I know they're a hardy breed up there, but still, I
Minnesota.
think you need a coat. Then my last note about this movie: where's Sinbad's kid?
You never see.
Where's
it.
the proof?
Yeah, he may or may not. He probably just wants to resell that Turbo Man doll on the black
Turbo
market.
Man.
They definitely lean into the volatile postal worker trope.
When did
Even some angry black man
Yes.
tropes with the
When did this movie come
aforementioned
out?
Rodney King.
1996.
Okay. I remember seeing it probably around that time,
Yeah.
and I don't remember it being that bad.
Right.
So I wonder if just
We were
I think
more
your
accepting back
Your
then.
taste
Yeah.
has probably matured, as all of ours have. We were all dumb in 1996. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Travis.
I still have fun facts.
Well, get
man.
your fun
We're-
facts.
We're just getting started. The story is based on the 1980s shopping frenzy over the Cabbage Patch dolls. However, it ended up perfectly mimicking the Tickle Me Elmo craze of Christmas in 1996. Sinbad improvised the majority of his lines, and Arnold also improvised many of his responses in conversation with Sinbad.
that might be part of the problem. I can't imagine that Schwarzenegger's an
They went for the
master.
Cassavetes approach.
In March 2001, a U.S. District Court jury in Birmingham, Michigan, ruled that 20th Century Fox stole the script idea from Detroit high school biology teacher Brian Webster.
That doesn't surprise me.
The studio was ordered to pay $19 million, later reduced to $1.5 million. Webster submitted the script, called Could This Be Christmas, to the studio in 1994 and never received payment nor credit, despite the film making $125 million worldwide. The studio appealed, claiming Webster's script was submitted after they had purchased a treatment of what would become this movie's script, and the verdict was reversed. Also, Webster died before he ever received any money from that lawsuit.
So this was a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Schwarzenegger could do no wrong back then.
And Sinbad was at the height of his
height
fame
of his
at the
powers.
time, yeah.
That's it.
Cool. All right. Well, then I'm going to cap things off with a turkey. This is called Nutcracker: The Untold Story, also known as Nutcracker 3D from 2010.
Also known as Nutcracker 3D's Nuts.
Yeah. This was directed by Andrei Konchalovsky, starring Elle Fanning.
Sounds Russian.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. Starring Elle Fanning, John Turturro, Nathan Lane, Francis Delatour, Charlie Rowe, Richard E. Grant, and Julia Vistotska.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they cast Elle Fanning because her name has elf in it?
Yeah, That's cute. Christmas in Vienna is a dull affair for 9-year-old Mary until her beloved Uncle Albert arrives and gives her a special gift, an enchanted nutcracker. On Christmas night, the nutcracker, named NC, comes to life and takes Mary to its magical land of sugar plum fairies and talking toys. Mary discovers that the wondrous kingdom faces a dire threat from the evil Rat King, and when the nutcracker is kidnapped, she must rally her new friends to save NC.
Once again, solid cast.
Okay. It's got all the things you love about the Nutcracker. Lyrics.
Uh-huh.
A talking chimp. An opera clown. A black kid with dreads who plays the drum. Albert Einstein. Mm-hmm. And Nazi imagery.
Yep.
It's got all the things that we hold dear to our hearts about the Nutcracker. This was financed by VEBRF, a Russian state development corporation chaired by Vladimir Putin.
No shit.
In 2020, VEB sued the producers for unpaid loans totaling $127.8 million.
Damn.
This movie cost $90 million to make. It was the most expensive movie financed
Where'd
by
that other
Russia.
$30 million go?
And it took in $20.5 million worldwide.
I got to think that you don't want to find yourself owing money to Russian oligarchs or the Russian government. That's probably...
You two will love this. There were no ballet sequences because the director said, quote, ballet cannot work in cinema very well. Hello, Red Shoes.
Yes.
One of the great films of all time.
Yes.
The rats look like Dr. Seuss characters that look like the Whovians, but if this is all in her imagination, does this mean that she dreams of Nazis?
So you mentioned Elle Fanning. We've also got Nathan Lane
Nathan Lane plays Albert
as
Einstein.
Uncle Albert, John Turturro as the Rat King, Charlie Rowe as Prince Nicholas Charles / NC, a.k.a. the Nutcracker.
Yep.
And then Richard E. Grant, who most recently was in Death of a Unicorn, but he's also in famous
With Nell and
Drunken
I, and-
Romp with Nell and I.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He plays her father.
Yeah.
It's a soulless black coal of a movie. It has
Exactly the kind of movie that Vladimir Putin
Yeah,
would be
it has
involved in.
none of the magic of the Nutcracker.
I found the music annoying.
Yeah.
Not just the fact that it was a musical, but the songs themselves were tedious and
Well, who takes
nerve-wracking.
who takes these well-known Nutcracker suite pieces and says, "Yeah, we should put lyrics to this," and then come up with some of our own original songs peppered in. Great decisions all around. It's just one misstep after another on a huge, expensive scale.
I feel like, much like Reindeer Games, Reindeer Games could have been a good movie.
Oh, this could have been too.
But it just falls so limp.
It has, and with the Nazi imagery, it gives it this really dystopian nightmare kind of tinge to it, which completely contradicts everything that you think of when you think of Nutcracker. You think of these beautiful, bright colors and all the wondrous, magical things that come to life. And in this film, it's just like, no. And it has that strange dark, dour quality in terms of the color palette that a lot of those
Kafkaesque.
yes. But a lot of this that color quality that you associate with those 3D movies that came out in the 2000s, early 2000s, it definitely reflects that.
We should
a
definitely
stinker.
mention that this is one of only 40 or so films to have a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. 0%.
Pretty terrible.
That's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do not recommend watching that movie.
I decided not to subject myself to that one. I did watch all the other ones, though.
I have narrowly avoided this one many times in the past as we're scrolling through streaming stuff.
Well, now you have a reason to
Seth is
say
a
no,
Big
firmly
fan of the
no.
Nutcracker, and yeah.
Fun facts. The film does not credit the original The Nutcracker and the Mouse King story, nor its author, E.T.A. Hoffman. This is the only version or adaptation of The Nutcracker that has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Uncle Albert was hinted throughout the movie to be famous scientist Albert Einstein, through references to relativity and even his E equals mc squared equation appearing at one point. This would match up because Albert Einstein was alive at the time of the movie's setting and lived in Germany, which is very close to Austria.
It's bad. It's bad. Okay, that's it. Those are our films. That's our lump of coal.
Lump of
coal.
We watch them so you won't have to this holiday season. Merry Christmas.
For the longest time, I've been plotting an episode, and now it's come to fruition because all four of us are finally together. We're going to do a bastardized white elephant gift selection to determine your categories for the next episode.
Okay.
So the way this is going to go, I've got a hat.
And we talked about it, and white elephant is the least racist or offensive
Yes, very much so.
name for this we can do.
So since I know what these are, I will go first and draw, and I will accept whatever fate deals me.
What are we...
So what's the theme here?
I'm not going to reveal the theme.
Oh,
But
okay.
on each slip of paper is written a word, and I will read my word. And Joey, if you
So we select a movie suggested by this word.
so yes, and
Okay.
it will become clear after we've all
Okay.
made our selections.
Okay.
But I will pick, and if you like my word better than your word, you may steal my word
And swap it with
and
you.
I'll take whatever you give me,
Okay.
and we'll just go around until we've all completed. Okay,
Okay.
understood?
Yep.
All right, excellent. My word is nuns.
Todd has serious designs on your word, I can tell. My word is Bond.
James Bond.
So do you want to trade or do you want to keep? And I know it's hard. You're at a disadvantage because you don't know
I'm
the
gonna
nature of
trade because I am not a huge James
So
Bond
you're gonna
fan,
trade
and
with
someone
me.
here is a bigger James Bond fan.
All right,
than
so
me.
I
But
now-
would it have to be James
I
Bond?
now have Bond. You will find out.
Okay.
Now, how does it work with the swapping? I can't do the one that he just did, right?
You can steal from him.
Oh, okay.
I have nuns, by the way.
Max. I'm going to
M-A-X?
take nuns.
That's my dog.
All right. So Todd has stolen from Joey.
Now, isn't there a rule that one thing can only be stolen twice, right?
That's true.
So,
My word is Aussie.
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 as in Australian.
As in oi, oi, oi.
And I have Bond. You have now.
I have Max.
You have nuns. What do you wish to do?
I want to trade my Aussie for Bond.
Okay.
Now, that one's off. No one can steal that one now, right?
Yeah.
Because it's gone twice. It's been stolen
Sweet.
twice.
I'm going to keep the one I have. I guess that now means that we all have our stuff, yeah? Unless somebody wants to take... There are two more left in the cap. If somebody wants to risk it all.
Curiosity is getting the better of me. I am going to trade mine in for a new pick. Is that how this works?
And you're going to get stuck with it no matter what. So you shouldn't have thrown it back in there.
Oh, yeah. I have now chosen... It's the same one. I have now chosen nurses.
Anyone else? Everyone's happy now? We got
I'm
nurses, nuns,
Bond.
and I have Aussie. All right. The theme of the next episode will be exploitation film.
Nursploitation. Okay.
Nunsploitation, Bondsploitation.
So
So
movies
not a Bond
that are
film.
Not a Bond film, but are
Bond,
kind of...
Bond ripoffs.
Kind of
Bond
like that,
ripoffs.
what was the dancing guy that did his passion project that we all watched?
Yeah.
The jig guy,
Blackbird.
the Irish jig
Blackbird,
guy.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I'm doing Ozsploitation.
Okay.
That's a great genre that...
And
So-
so we
played.
each pick one movie that qualifies?
Let's do two. We won't do a feature film, so we'll do two.
Okay.
Two nursploitations.
Yes, and I've got plenty I can recommend to you.
Okay.
I already know one of mine.
Oh, nuts.
And I have a video that I can share with you to give you some inspiration if you need it.
Oh, I don't think I need it.
Yeah, no, there's so much Bond stuff.
I don't need any help
So,
with mine.
just so you know, the
Todd's got a nunsploitation on lock.
I think we should probably be clear, though, that we're not looking for satires of these. They're
Yeah, it's part of the-
taking advantage of...
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
there's a whole category of Bondsploitation,
Yeah.
obviously nunsploitation, nursploitation. That was huge. So you had
So, like, Austin Powers wouldn't work because it's satire, but the Ipcris file
yeah
would work.
Yeah, there's like a whole run of like let's make a super spy movie, So yeah, there was the Mad Max Maxploitation series of films,
Oh, I thought it was about my dog.
and then the last one was going to be Trucksploitation.
Truck.
Yeah, that period of the late 70s.
Like Trucker?
Yes,
Oh,
all that
man.
18.
Breaker 1-9 radio check. Come on.
So anyway, we've had our categories. Now we will have our discussions in a couple of weeks about 2 films from those subcategories for exploitation.
Sweet.
Love it.
Yeah, we haven't done exploitation in a long time.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be fun to go with the deeper cuts of some of these subgenres within exploitation. All right. Merry Christmas.
I noticed there was no women in prison. in your
We've
hat.
done women in prison.
I know, but it's such a fun
It
one.
is a
I
fun
bet
one.
there are some. I bet there's some nuns and nurses in prison movies.
Oh, sure. I bet you could get some crossover. Absolutely. We're Cinema Chop Shop on all of the social medias. We're Cinema Chop Shop Podcast on Blue Sky and YouTube. Please check us out. Please rate, review, and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and tell your friends about us. Hey, it's the season. Tell your family and friends that you love them.
I love you guys.
I love you guys too. Do kind things for people and just be nice to one another. And in the meantime, please remember to watch, chop, retrofit,
Redacted.
and jingle all the way.